Namaste to Guruji. Jai Guruji Aunty.
Hey Guruji. So without further ado, this is the fourth chapter. Do not become a friend of your child, as if you two will become friends, then who will play the role of a parent? But treat children with compassion and love, as they are what parents make them to be. So the role of parents in a children's life is very vital. Because what we teach them, particularly from a young age, that is how then they become almost, through the teachings and the values that we inculcate in them. Sai and Rabda sat in the cave with the fire burning between them, providing warmth, light, and a beautiful fragrance. It was a small cave, not more than a few 100 feet wide and long. Baba always sat facing the south, and the fire burnt away. He needed nothing for the fire to keep raging, just a glance, and the fire did as he wanted. The sparks moved in and out of Baba, and after a while, one got used to this, and Baba seemed to be moving about with wings or in a swirling orbit of fire. Rabda felt his heart would burst due to the intense love and longing that he felt for the old man. He was himself surprised and shocked that if he could love anybody with such passion and selflessness, if Baba were to tell him to do or not do something, whatever it may be, there was not a doubt in Rabda's mind that he would do so or not do so in a blink of an eye. That is hukam that we need to have and follow with Guruji. So when he says do this or don't do that, our Shraddha should be so strong, our faith should be so immovable that we also follow his guidelines to the letter. Whatever it may be, there was no doubt in Rabda's mind that he would do or not do so in a blink of an eye, whatever the hukam was. This love he felt was so new, but felt so familiar, that Rabda felt restless, and yet at the same time, he had never felt such bliss. Yes, not peace, but bliss. Peace is a state of mind, bliss is a state of being. So we feel that bliss from time to time, maybe after something good has happened and we feel that state of bliss. But peace of mind is more long term, and it comes with not feeling the need to fight every battle, to simply surrender to his divine will and let him take over our situation. Nobody's concerned about who I am or the essence of my being along with my journey, but all seem to be so interested in whether I'm a Muslim or a Hindu. I am just a servant and slave of Allah. No, you are not considered to be a servant or slave of Allah, Baba Sai. On earth in India, you have been made into an avatar. Some consider you to be Lord Shiva avatar, some are Lord Rama avatar, some are Lord Datta avatar, and some are Lord Krishna avatar. What about Lord Brahma avatar? They forget poor Lord Brahma, Baba chuckled. Poor Lord Brahma is not on the top of the charts where spirituality is concerned. Whose avatar do you consider me, Rabda? I consider you to be my Baba. We can all relate to this where we say, Guruji, hamare hain. So I consider you to be my Baba. I don't care a flying duck whether you are an avatar or a Mahavatar or this or that or whatever. You're my Baba Sai, my rock star, my lead guitarist, my main lyricist, my only manager and choreographer and everything. You are the words in my song and the rhythm in my melody. You are the thump in my bass guitar and the bear in my drums. You are, and the beat in my drums. You are my father, mother, friend, the sigh in my soul, and the thud in my heart. And very often an excruciating pain in my very being and a migraine in my head. So he is everything. For us also, Guruji Ho, Sai Ho, it's one light, one joy. So he is everything to us. He's the lyrics in our individual songs. Life without you is like the most delicious mango, but without any taste in my tongue, or the whiff of anything, least of all your fragrance. You are for me the fakir, not this fancy Hindu god all decked up in finery, and seated under a gold roof, nor a Muslim who follows the code of conduct and behavior prescribed by the Holy Quran. For me, you are my be-all and end-all, the universe and beyond the beyond. You who have allowed everybody and anybody to thrust their beliefs and their fundas onto you. Baba Sai filled another chillum and took a deep puff and handed the pipe to Rabda. Both men smoked quietly. For some reason, it was neither cold nor hot. It was neither day nor night. It was surreal, and Rabda never ever wanted to wake up. But sometimes I feel the purpose of my coming in the form of Sai Baba Shivdi has got negated, as my teachings and my very essence has been forgotten. I spent my entire life in Shivdi as a fakir, wearing a white robe, which was torn or stitched in so many places that it looked like thatched cloth. The essence of a fakir or a yogi is to embrace poverty, as the material world has a way of caging you with its charms and its illusions. The very word fakir comes from the word fakr, which means poverty. A fakir is said to embrace poverty willingly and lovingly. To embrace poverty means to drop all worldly attachments, as it is worldly attachments that stand between an individual and Allah. This poverty that we talk about is enforced. We eat little, talk little, sleep little. We are meant to not take up poverty for any other reason but that it is a way to go beyond any kind of attachment. If a fakir takes up poverty but keeps yearning for good food and clothes, a comfortable accommodation in life, then the very reason for which the fakir has taken the path of embracing poverty becomes meaningless. I lived my life according to the tenets of tariqat laid down by the Sufi tradition. From the time of Prophet Muhammad and the yogis, starting with Lord Datta, every religion prescribes that the spiritual aspirant or seeker become detached. Lord Buddha too took up poverty and begging bowl. So did Lord Mahavir. This is our tradition. To embrace poverty willingly and to keep the focus on the fakir is one of the main foundations of spiritual aspirants. Embracing poverty is better than being a king, and it is countless times superior to being rich. But the main reason to go beyond the material and focus on the one. Now, when a person is living the life of a householder, he or she cannot afford to abide by this philosophy of voluntary poverty. Oh, for sure, if the poor chap wants to practice being a fakir, apart from voluntary poverty, he will experience involuntary flogging every moment of his existence from his more dangerous harm. Humor truly isn't your strong point, is it? Rabda. Both the men looked at each other and began to laugh. Yet, yes, it is not for an individual to embrace voluntary poverty, living the life of a householder. But son, you still are not getting the essence of being a fakir. A fakir practices voluntary poverty not because he loves to live in poverty, but because he wants to be detached from all worldly attachments. As it is the worldly attachments which eventually enslave one and all, and cut the wings with which one would soar towards him, the Almighty. So one can be in this world, but devoid of any attachments. If that is the case, then one may be surrounded by luxury, but detached, and thus still be a fakir in essence. And one can be a fakir and still crave for comfort and be a householder in essence. So like Guruji said, ghar grasti mein rab milte hain. So even though we are in our household and we are performing our daily, responsibilities and fulfilling our duties, we remain comfortably detached from it all, knowing that we are simply playing a role. And that role has to be fulfilled with optimum effort of ours. But in the same breath, we remember him every moment and understand the essence of being human. So the sad part is that the world has become fakir sign into a God surrounded by comfort and luxury. The pomp and gold is not for one who has gone beyond all of this. But now you no longer can be called a fakir. You are God. And the way you are worshipped, you have taken place in the top brackets reserved for God's worship by Hindus. Well, if I wanted to divulge my religion, I would have. The reason I did not divulge my birth or religion is that a fakir or a yogi has no religion. Fakiri itself is our religion, and we are born when we meet our Guru or when we realize oneness with the fakir. Thus, I have never disclosed by birth or religion. How hard can it be for anybody to realize that there must have been a reason for me not to reveal who I was? Initially in Shirdi, there would be countless fakirs coming over. Sufis abounded in Shirdi. They came to me for guidance and for spiritual strength and knowledge. Often on the path of spirituality, one gets stuck. Fakirs would come from far and wide and be guided by me. Yes, with them I spoke in Urdu or Arabic. I would wear anklets and dance and do the Sufi swirling. I have spoken a lot about the Holy Quran to them and the principles of Sufism and how to move beyond everything and focus on the one. If any of them had kept a record of all that I said to these fakirs and Sufis, then for sure I would be considered a Sufi and thus a Muslim. Have you read the 101 pages that Abdul, who took care of my physical needs and wants, kept all that I told him? If you read what I have dictated to Abdul, you will say, Baba Sai is definitely a Muslim. But as there is not much recorded of what transpired between the Sufis and Fakirs and me, but there is a lot of record of all that I told my Hindu devotees and disciples, it seems I am a Hindu. But the fact is, till the last 10 years of my being in the physical body, apart from families living in and near Shirdi, I would get only Fakirs and Sufis coming from far and wide to meet me. It was in the last 10 years, since 1908, that my children from Bombay and other parts of the country began to come to me. Most of them belonged to the Hindu faith, and there were many who kept diaries, and most of those who wrote books about me too were from the Hindu faith. The Sufis and Fakirs traveled far and wide, and thus they were not really spoken to when these books were being written. Therefore, if the books are read, it will seem that I was well versed with the ancient and venerated books of Hinduism, and thus I was assumed to be a Hindu. But why would I tell a Hindu to read the Holy Quran? Have I lost my mind? Why would I quote from the Quran passages to my Hindu disciples? And why would I tell my Muslim disciples to read sacred books passed down through the generations, written or spoken by sages? One respects the faith of all, and one quotes from the books of those one is familiar with. If a Hindu came to me, I would tell the child to read works from the ancient sages. If a Muslim came to me, I would quote from the Quran and tell the person to recite a paragraph from the Quran. But so many saw you as their God, you were seen as Lord Datta, Sri Ram, Lord Shiva, Lord Vital. Of course, I will be seen in any and every form. As once you swim in the great ocean, you can resemble anything that has come out from the great ocean. My children saw me in the image of their God, and thus I became the image of their God. And saying this, Baba began to change his form. Every known God, prophet, goddess, guru, perfect master, he became and metamorphosed into. Similarly, Guruji used to metamorphose into whatever God we believed in. Many Sangat, or few and far between, have seen Guruji's different forms. This is not new. Every perfect master could take the form of the one the disciple worshipped, trying to tell the disciple and devotees that he or she is me and I'm the one. And eventually, it is truly about the oneness. What I feel sad about is that my essence has been forgotten. I stood for oneness. In Shirdi, how many Sufis do you see now? I am from the one, and one has no religions. Shirdi has become a pilgrimage dham, when in reality, Shirdi and Sai Baba should have been a pilgrimage of oneness. I do not see oneness now. I see duality. So there is duality in everything. So even Guruji came to teach us about oneness and about how we are all one, and he did not create any disparity between any religions, because he taught us that every religion teaches us the same love, compassion, humility, humanity, kindness, and generosity, and service, and charity. But you allowed formal worship to take place when you were present too, right? Yes, I am a slave of my children. I will allow everything to take place that makes my children happy. Earlier, there used to be a recitation of the Quran and Sufi songs sung at sunset time. As earlier I was surrounded by Sufis and fakirs, I would dance with them, as that is the way of Sufis. As Zoroastrian, so Prophet Zoroastra in me, and thus so many Zoroastrians came to me. Christians see Lord Shiva. Whenever anyone came to me with faith, I became one with the one. Shirdi should have become the only place in the world to be a pilgrimage site for all religions. If a statue had to be placed and ritualistic worship had to be done, it could have been done in another place in Shirdi. My tomb should have been left as a simple resting place, a place of healing and oneness for the countless who come to me as their master and God. My place should have been left as a haven for oneness. Each one could have come and done their respective prayers and been blessed with whatever they came for. Even now, there should be a time and place for all religious prayers to take place in front of my tomb and statue. Islamic prayers, Zoroastrian prayers, Christian prayers, Sikh prayers, Hindu prayers. I am oneness. I am the fakir of the Almighty One. As long as my children don't go beyond religion and stop trying to make me an avatar or a pir or a kutub, but just love me as Sai, their father and mother, my true essence will never be understood. I am his servant, and as his servant, I am the be-all and end-all for my children. I am Sai. What is Sai? Sai means father. Sai means the wise one. Sai means the holy one. Is that not enough for my children? Do I have to be this avatar or that avatar? Can I not just be Sai, the fakir, the Sai, the one who loves? Rabda. Understand one thing. Jesus Christ was not a Christian. He was born before Christianity. And obviously those who follow him are Christians. Jesus was a Jew, and he allowed his own people to crucify him. Obviously nobody could crucify him without his permission. So he planned everything down to the last nail. Imagine planning out something for yourself that is going to be so merciless and ruthless, but then he had to do what he was told to by the one. He thus was following the plan. So did Jesus crucify Jews? Did Jews crucify Jesus? No. Jesus planned for himself to get crucified in order to take on the universal karma of all of creation. So if he planned the merciful torture on himself, of freeing all creation from their karmic baggage and sins and ramifications, he needed somebody to do this to him. Judas loved Jesus the most among Jesus's inner circle. Judas never once thought Jesus would be crucified. And when he realized that they were torturing his Jesus, he returned all the gold coins, threw the coins, and when nothing was going to stop his Jesus from being crucified, Judas killed himself. So understand, those who crucified Jesus, and Judas too played that part. The question to ask is this: if I am going to be crucified, who would I choose to do the needful? Certainly for those, not those I do not know. It will have to be those close to me, for reasons best known only to me. I would choose my people to kill me and torture me. I know you might not understand this, but the fact is that all karmic cleansing is done by those who have been closest to us, not strangers, but those closest to us. So, to somebody blaming the Jews for crucifying Christ, well, the fact is that Christ was a Jew too. So, Christ was crucified by his lot. Prophet Zarathustra was not a Zoroastrian, but those who followed Zarathustra are known as Zoroastrians. The same for Lord Buddha, the same for Prophet Muhammad. He was not born a Muslim, but he introduced Islam, and then his followers became Muslims. So for us, religion is ancillary. A prophet, a perfect master, a saint is beyond religion. Like Guruji is also beyond religion. Therefore, he embraced all faiths. And today we have Iranians, we have Muslims from Pakistan, we have Christians, we have every faith connecting to Guruji today. What do we have to do with religion? Our bond is with the one. The God has no religion. There is no special heaven for Hindus or a special one for Muslims, Christians, Zoroastrians, Buddhists, Native Americans. You get what I'm saying, boy? All those who try to give me a religion are losing the plot. If I wanted to reveal my religion and birth and parents, I would have. The fact is, I'm beyond religion. I am merged with the one. The one has no religion. Just as neither the prophet nor the master has no religion, we belong to all of creation, all of mankind. We do not belong to one sect or people. Do you think Lord Shiva is a Hindu? Obviously not. Obviously not. He always was, long before even creation. You think the word Om is the sole prerogative of Hindus? Of course not. The word Om is the sound of the cosmos. It is a sigh of creation. It is heard by all those who are connected with the One. What we know as Om, the Zoroastrians called Ahun, and some African sage will call it Un, but it is the sound of creation, and eventually Om is beyond religion. As long as my followers, children, lovers, devotees do not understand that I do not need to be Hindu or Muslim, I am Sai, the servant, slave, son, and part of the whole of the One. I am Sai, the One, Sai, the Sai of the One. As long as they do not understand and grasp this simple reality that I do not need to be an avatar or know all about Muslim Islam and the Sufi hierarchy to be Sai. I just need to be loved and loved and loved and loved to be Sai. As long as people do not understand this, my journey and my presence and my essence have all gone to waste. Similarly, Guruji came to teach us spirituality, simplicity, and oneness. He came to teach us that there are no behems, no ahems. But people today are getting into every kind of behem and ahem, and Guruji's essence we must maintain, which is of oneness. If my people do not go beyond religion, I have failed. Your Sai is a failure if he cannot make his children go beyond religion. And for as long as they do not understand that God is beyond religion, and if Sai is their God, how can Sai have a religion, my child? Sai itself is a religion. Sai is a religion of love, brotherhood, compassion, and oneness. So Guruji again came to teach us the same. Be God loving, not God fearing. Just love Him. Be together, which is brotherhood, fraternity, compassion, and oneness. Compassion is daya and humility, nivapan. I do not need or want to be in any temple. Guruji used to say, Rab koi mandara vich nahi baithe, vada man hi mandar. I want to be in the heart of my children. I do not want to be God incarnate. My Guruji is in the heart of every single human being. But we need to awaken our Guru within by being in alignment with his teachings. I do not want to be God incarnate. I just want to be loved as Sai Baba, your father, who is one with God. Who am I? I've come to countless times, more than 84 times. Are you saying I came all the time as a Hindu or a Muslim? Why can Sai not be a Zoroastrian, a Christian, a Buddhist? Are you saying I have not been present since the beginning of time? Was there religion from the beginning of time? To cage me in one box means not to know me ever. So that's similarly, Guruji cannot be boxed in one belief system. He is everything. Sab Gobind hai, sab Gobind hai. Ek din Guruji ne kaha कि मैं हर चीज विच तुसी मैनू देखोगे, even in Bollywood songs, in pop songs, in jazz, in everything, in every morsel of life, we will be remembering him and seeing him in all that is and all that will be and all that was. To cage me in one box means not to know me ever. I still wonder which religion I belong to, means not knowing or loving me ever. So let us not limit God in one box. There are many who have even written about my so-called birth and childhood and parentage and religion. Was I off my head to not have revealed everything to one and all about my religion and birth and everything? Why did I say nothing? Because I believed that my children would only want me, only love me. They would not be interested in anything I did, not want them to know or be concerned about. But I have failed, Rabda, failed miserably. The Muslims tell strange stories about me. The Hindus have made me one of them. But is that who I am, Rabda? I belong to all, or I belong to nobody but the one. Sai has been forgotten. The politics of Sai has begun. So it happens in every yuga where politics happens. Politics and religion walk hand in hand. Therefore, Guruji used to say, apna direct connection banao, ek chup so sukh. Man hoy changa te nalke da pani bhi karuna. Keep it simple. Keep the connectivity very simple, very practical. The Muslims tell strange stories about me. The Hindus have made me one of them. But is that who I am, Rabda? I belong to all, or I belong to nobody but the one. Sai has been forgotten. Politics of Sai has begun. I am a fakir. I have embraced poverty and detachment as I only want him. What have I to do with things that divide? I have come to unify. So the divisions are always man-made. And to unify is God's way of bringing everyone together, to join things, to create harmony. I cannot break things. Nowadays, religion has become something to divide brother from brother. Thus, all the more, Sai cannot belong to any religion. When my Tajuddin, left his body, the statue of Lord Vittal and Rukmini Ma wept for 12 hours. It is a fact recorded by even the newspapers of those days. Why would Lord Vishnu and Ma Lakshmi weep for Tajuddin? if there was no oneness? My Taj was in the body. 5 times namazi, one who used to initially say namaz or Islamic prayers 5 times a day, and yet Lord Vittal and Rukmini had wept for his passing. Why? The answer is simple. There is only oneness by God, Goddess, and Master concerned. Only mankind divides. God unites. Thus, Bacha, know one thing. If you love Sai, love oneness. We are still going strong. If you love duality, throw Sai out of your heart, home and temple. But if you love oneness, install Sai as the embodiment of the one, then you have every right to pray to me as Sai, Ram, Krishna, Shiva, Datarya, Vital, Muhammad, Mahalakshmi, Christ, Sarastra, as then praying to me would be praying to all of them. But if you cannot see my oneness, then those people are stabbing me repeatedly in my heart. All those who abuse, slander, injure, rape, bomb, maim, kill in God's name belong to the army of Shaitan or the devil himself. So many things are happening in today's world. So many atrocities and crimes are being committed and perpetrated in the name of religion. So no religion teaches us violence or inhumanity or evil actions, but it is all man-made belief systems to serve man, but not to serve God. More people have been killed in the name of our Lord than killed in the name of the devil. What kind of spirituality or religious sentiment is this? How can you be so brazenly kill or hurt in the name of the one who is only love personified? God is love. Every time a Muslim kills in the name of Prophet Muhammad or Allah, he stabs Prophet and Allah. Every time a Christian kills in the name of Christ, he puts another nail into Christ. Each time a Hindu kills in the name of Ram, Shiva, Hinduism, he burns all the sacred scriptures of the Dharam and stabs his God, in whose name he kills or slanders or harms another soul. All religions on one side are not worth the life of an innocent person, for in that innocent person resides God, and nothing can weigh heavier than the living God in all beings. All religions on one side are not worth the life of an innocent person, for in that innocent person resides God, and nothing can weigh heavier than the living God in all living beings. Masters and prophets belong to no religion, as we belong to the one. So Bacha and Sai, the one beyond religion. Even Guruji used to say, your true religion is your humanity, your kindness, your compassion, and your humility. Then they sat down. Baba was in dhyan. More and more flames shot out of his body, and many more returned into his body. Rabda sat and saw Baba, and he felt days and nights passed with him just looking at his master, God, Goddess, but most important, his Baba Sai. So it is so beautiful because we can all resonate to Baba Sai's teachings because they are literally in parallel to God's teachings. They are one and the same. So I hope we received a lot of answers. There's no vehem. Even in satsangs, the idea is to connect to our divine and in complete silence and discipline. But ye na karo, wo na karo. Guruji used to just be so simple. There was a simple darbar, simple langar prasad, and concise and clear sharing of his grace. Today, there's so many embellishments and trimmings to every satsang that we lose the essence, because by the time the sangat reaches the essence, the sangat has already lost their attention. Attention span in today's world is indeed very brief, very short. So it is important and imperative to keep our satsangs to the point, keep them crisp, clear, and concise. And know that we are no different from each other, Sab Govind hai, and know that we are all heading towards that oneness. Each one of us, doesn't matter what our culture, what our costume, what our belief systems, we are all one. Sab Govind hai. Jai Guruji. Thank you for today's reading. I hope there are beautiful takeaways on oneness and simplicity and breaking all barriers of religion and our own belief systems